Hey YouTube, what's up? In JT Sasuke. I'm here to bring you my review for Arrow. So jumping right into this one. So we start off with John Constantine. In the flashbacks, John Constantine was spying on the people on that island. He ended up getting caught, and that's when Oliver came in because Oliver was caught being a spy, and the dude tried to get him killed by their leader, but the leader wasn't worried about it because John Constantine was there. And what ended up happening was the leader sat there and was like, "Look, if you know this place, take him to where this is, get the artifact, and then come back and give it to me and make sure he doesn't get it." So Constantine ended up breaking out of the handcuffs, taking the gun, knocking the other dude out, taking Oliver hostage, and eventually they went to the location on the island, and Lian Yu went underground, thanks to some magic, and was able to grab the artifact. And then John Constantine was like, "All right, well, thank you for helping me. I owe you one." Oliver also saved him from dying when he pulled out what looked like a mini sword. But he saved him from dying because there was a trap for anyone who touched it. Oliver seen it and caught him in time and pushed him out the way with himself, obviously. So Constantine owed him one, not only for helping him, but for saving his life. Oliver was just like, "Yeah, I can't go back empty-handed." So he popped off the top and said, "The real magic is in here, but here, take this." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I also need you to punch me in the face." He was like, "Right, my escape attempt left a bruise." He said, "Don't worry, I must warn you, I got a hell of a right hook," and punched the living shit out of him. So that's basically a favor that he owes Oliver, which comes into play. See, the first half of this episode that wasn't about the flashbacks was all about finding Sarah, and what ended up happening was Sarah ended up killing two guys that were trying to rape a woman, a waitress, and then she ended up almost killing the waitress because she looked like Thea, but the police got there, and so what ended up happening was Captain Lance talked to Laura and was like, "Look, is Sarah there? Because there are people talking about how you are talking about a girl who looks just like Sarah going around killing people," and she was just like, "I'm looking for her." So eventually what ended up happening was when they heard there was a disturbance going on at the nightclub, they all went there, Arrow and all of them, and tried to stop the disturbance, and that's when they found out it was Sarah. That's when Oliver found out that they went to Nanda Parbat and not a spa. And that's when he was able to actually sit there and say that you guys shouldn't have brought her back. Of course, this brought tension between him and Laurel because he never told Laurel that he brought Thea back through the Lazarus pit and on the Parbat and what it's doing to her. And I think if he had told her that, she wouldn't have done it. But with that being said, we move on to them eventually actually using Thea as bait to catch Sarah, because Sarah has caught Thea a couple times, and the first time she beat her up, put her in the hospital, and she was really banged up, and the second time she caught her in the hospital. And what ended up happening was she left the hospital, and they decided to use Thea as bait, mainly because Diggle was in charge, Oliver isn't, and Thea wanted to do this in order to catch Sarah because she has some type of innate connection to Thea. Because her urge to kill will never be satisfied until she kills Thea. So they were going to use that and the connection that they have. So Sarah came at the nightclub because that's where they were set up at. Diggle, Oliver, and Laurel, they were all up high waiting for Sarah to burst in. She did. And although she did attack Thea, which I don't know why they didn't act faster, but eventually they did. Diggle got Thea out of there. Laurel and Oliver went back and forth fighting Sarah, although Sarah whooped both of their butts. Eventually Laurel pulled out a gun and was about to shoot Sarah, but then Oliver hit her with a trank arrow, and not Laurel, I'm talking about Sarah. He hit Sarah with a trank arrow and talked Laurel out of shooting her. And that's when he called John Constantine and was like, "Hey, you remember that favor you owe me? Yeah, I'm calling that one in." So what ended up happening was, Constantine came and he he did a magical ceremony that allowed him to bring himself, Oliver, and Laurel down to the other world, the world of the dead, to bring Sarah's soul back. Because when she was resurrected, her body was resurrected, her soul wasn't. So she finally got her soul back, and that ends that story arc. However, there's more to the episode. Diggle ended up going with Captain Lance to a secret high tech, not military facility, but a government facility to erase some files on a hard drive. And one of the names that was on there was Diggle's brother. So after they did that, in which they had a huge confrontation and talk beforehand, and he explained why he was working with Damien Dark, to when Diggle understood because he was holding Laura over him. Lance actually talked to Damien Dark, and he found out that Diggle's brother was a drug lord in the Middle East, and they don't share. So they killed him. He ended up giving the file to Diggle at the end of the episode, and Diggle understood and was like, well, I got some closure, so at least I know now. With that being said, we also have Oliver, who is obviously still running for mayor, and what ended up happening was they hired a political strategist, and part of that was saying that you can't. Part of the political strategist, his whole storyline was just trying to tell him that he couldn't be associated with Laurel because of the scandal that happened between him, Laurel, and Sarah, and how political standings can definitely mess up someone's career. And eventually, he was going to do it at first, but eventually he decided not to. But with that being said, that was the episode, and it was very good, and I liked it very much. Comment down below, let me know what you guys thought, and subscribe to my channel for more Arrow content, alright? Peace.